One. All right. Well, welcome back. This is our 10th episode. This is actually kind of exciting. 10 episodes, which means that
Number
means like
10.
two and a half months of checking in and just recording and talking about stuff. And today, we actually, when I thought about it, we used to be on the Steam family library on the same. We used to share it, and then I
I think you
stopped.
got a new account, right?
No, I didn't get a new account. I stopped sharing it because I couldn't tell which games were mine. Like in my library settings, it got really annoying. Like because you bought so many games, like it just the list kept going, and then I couldn't tell. And then I tried to deal with the library and organize
Thanks a
it and
lot,
sort
Humble
it,
Bundle.
but it was overwhelming. So I think I left the family, and now I know it's not like you can just join up real quick. So I'm not concerned about it. It's just like instead of having to buy a game, that one that you already own, I was like, if you can share it.
I would share it with you.
But it's all right. I think I don't. I just like today. Normally I don't have time to play games, but today, lead into one of my stories of the week is just I just had to. I surfed a little too hard yesterday, and I pulled my butt muscle or one of my hip muscles, and just had to take a day off for me to recover. So I ended up looking
That's
around at
okay.
my Steam library, and I guess it's like it's like my recovery day. So it's my recovery day. I was looking if I
I
was
thought it was
bored.
weird. You pinged me for a game this morning where I'm like, wait, aren't you surfing on a Sunday at this time?
Yeah, exactly. So usually I don't. I mean, yeah, I just don't play games. But when we talk about, and this is the part where I think it makes me kind of sad, and I'm glad I'm stepping away from gaming since since the beginning of 2026. I pretty much sold everything, like other than the computer, and I'm just not investing in video games anymore. And
This is the wrong week for that.
I mean, it's all right. I mean, if I really want to play something,
I say that because this week is the, was it, game showcase week,
oh yeah,
where
it's Summer
every
Game Fest.
publisher and studios
Yeah,
showcase their game like E3 they used to back then.
yeah, yeah. I mean, it's fine, but I'm not part of that hype chain. Even one of our, um, I mean, like Final Fantasy, I really it's coming to PC, so if I really want to play it when it comes out, I'll play it. I'm pretty sure I'll play it if it comes out and it's the right
On your
price. But
Mac? I don't know if it'll be good enough to play.
no, I mean on my PC, it's fine if I really want to. But I'll see. I think by that time I'm probably way checked out until
It's
next
next
year.
spring.
Yeah, I'm probably checked out a year from now. I don't know. Um, but it gets back to my point. Like maybe, and this is why I'm kind of sad and also grateful that I happened to leave or really stop being interested in video games because at first I was like, okay, I'll stop playing games. I mean, I have my PC, my gaming PC, if I really want to, but then the Steam Deck was really attractive, but not anymore because it costs like a
$200 more.
thousand dollars.
Yeah.
Because you could buy the base one, right? But you're gonna want to buy accessories,
You
and you're
need
gonna
storage.
you need to upgrade the memory. I mean, even if you pop in SD cards, so you're gonna spend like $1,000 to get it all. And I thought about it before the price went up. I was like, oh, once it's back in stock, maybe something on the go. But and then I was like, maybe I'll just wait for a Steam Deck 2. Because honestly, all they need to do for a Steam Deck 2 is just upgrade certain parts, right? Just the processor, the processing units, the GPU, and you can call it Steam Deck 2. And here's the thing about it: Steam Deck 2 and Steam Deck will function pretty much identical, just like Nintendo Switch and Nintendo Switch 2, because it's the same platform. You know, you could play on your PC, you could play on the Steam Deck. So I think that's the most attractive thing about Steam at this point in time is it's no longer just stuck on a gaming PC for good performance. Um,
There are also other handhelds that other companies have made.
yeah, they're $1,000 plus, and they're also really bulky.
The only thing, those are Windows OS based, whereas the Steam is Linux
Yeah,
based. So
correct. So efficiency wise, that's why I know Steam OS they updated to support third party hardware natively, so you don't have to load Windows on some of them. But it's just too expensive. It's just too expensive. At this point, like you could just buy a laptop or close to it.
Yeah, but that's a different feel. That's
Exactly.
heavier. I mean, not, it's a bit heavier, but mainly more bulkier.
Yeah, yeah, and that's why it's like that's why the handheld market I think is always a very um like there's only so much people pay for a handheld before it gets ridiculous. And then in order to make a good handheld, it takes a lot of specialized components.
Yeah, I like that PlayStation Portal they have, but I never bought it because I don't play any PS5 games all that often or at all.
So I had it, I bought one. I played Blueprints on it last year. It's pretty amazing experience having that handheld. And I tried playing some other games. It's great, but I just gave up gaming. If I was still into gaming, it probably serves its function in your house as a handheld. Works incredibly well. 5 out of 5 stars if there was a rating. Great concept.
The price was pretty good too, 180 when it first came out.
Yeah, now it's like
200.
I think 200, 300,
200.
somewhere like that. I think
Yeah.
all the PlayStation prices.
It didn't
went
go up that much, thankfully.
Yeah, they all went up. So it's one of those weird things where usually you could count on gaming to go down in price after a few years, but not anymore because of the stupid AI hogging all the hardware across all different components. Is just ridiculous. Hopefully, hopefully one day, I mean, this AI bubble bursts and things can normalize in a way that makes sense for the average consumer.
We'll see. I mean, companies like Nvidia said they're not aiming at the consumer grade graphics card anymore. They're focusing on enterprise and AI. So,
Yeah, I mean, they say one thing, but they'll pivot, just like every business will pivot once the market reaches a saturation point. So, otherwise, I mean, it's the death of gaming in a way. If well, not the death of gaming, but death of innovation. Like you wouldn't see a PS7 or a PS6 or
you'll see a PS6. I think that's in the
yeah,
works.
wait, yeah,
though.
PS6 in the works, yeah, but like you wouldn't see it being mass adopted because it'd just be like, whoa, this is like really expensive, and it just wouldn't make sense anymore. It'll almost be like, I think here's the comparison: a PS5 is like as much as an iPad. So they're treading into that territory where these consumer electronics have a very specialized function or in the price point of these multi-functioning like a MacBook, like a Windows PC or a laptop. So you ask yourself, why would I spend that much money when it could only perform one function? Why wouldn't I just get a whole computer versus a console?
Well, it's console gaming versus PC again, and that type of
exactly. So you draw the line, but the thing I think has changed a lot is PC gaming is much more acceptable now than I would say 15, 20 years ago, where you generally had to build a computer.
And there was a barrier of entry to that.
Yeah.
Because you had to know how to build a computer and boot up Windows or install it.
Yeah, now it's like completely different. The barrier entry and that, like, because PC gaming has gone mainstream, it's not that hard. But I do hope, like, that's why I think Steam will eventually, if things keep up this way, Steam would be the only platform left that is consumer friendly. And I only say consumer friendly because, like, you could buy their games pretty cheap. PC games you could buy on Steam pretty cheap if you time it, and because the library's so much, like right now, I don't have to buy any new games. Honestly, you could just buy old games from like 5 years ago, 4 years ago, 3 years ago, and play them today on PC, and you still won't have enough time to play them all. And that's when you catch up to something like, let's say I've been looking at Claire 33.
Yeah, I have
Right.
that. I could be sharing that with you.
I mean, I had it for PS5, but I ended up not playing it. But
I could
like,
share with you on Steam is what I'm saying.
yeah, it's like I can wait until like 5 years later, and I'm like, oh yeah, I wanted to play that. That was like game of the year, and at that time it's probably like $10. It's just like The Witcher 3. Like, it's hecka cheap now. Or I think Cyberpunk 2077 is on sale regularly. Like those AAA big titles and eventually go on sale.
They do, but not as cheap as we think.
Yeah.
Still.
But still, and because the Steam library just exists, and then if they open themselves to more platform, it's just the only viable platform that you can continually count on, where your library will stay with you, for the lifetime, for your lifetime at least. I don't really care what happens afterwards, but like that's more entertainment than I really need, honestly. But that's me talking in terms of thinking like a gamer, which I pretty much not these days.
Well, I like talking about the game so I can chat with my friends because they're playing it now. So it's like the current stuff, not like 5 years later. It's like, oh yeah, you finally played that, yeah, and then conversations bygone by then.
Oh yeah, you're right, totally right. Especially if, and that's why I like playing those single player games, because I can enjoy it on my own pace a lot
Yeah, I
more.
mean everyone's playing those single player games. Like I played Clear Up Scare. My friend, he was like, he just finished it not long after, or not long before I got into it, and we got a good chat conversation about it. And this was like probably 10 months after the game came out when we finally got into it.
Yeah. All right. So that's kind of our cold opening right now, because that's what just popped in our head. But I'll start off because I kind of led into it. So my not really negative, but I'll lead into it. Is I found out I get my body. I go to physical therapy to help improve my function, mobility, and things. And this week I went to see a different doctor. And I learned I have a very straight spine.
That's a good
Probably
thing.
no. That's actually a bad thing.
Oh, because there should be some curvature, right?
Yes. So not just some. There should be a good amount in terms of. I mean, not like your spine is
Not
spaghetti,
scoliosis
but
type, right?
yeah, no. It's just so straight, where naturally, you have a S curve.
Yeah.
It begins at your head, your beginning of your neck, and then it curves. That's your upper back, and then your lower back curves into your hips. So my back is more not naturally. I don't think it's naturally straight, but over the years, either my hunching or trying to not hunch has just made it like a straight line. And what that does, I learned, is that it limits and locks up my lower body muscles, my hip muscles, my hip flexors, and all of that, the hamstrings, all of that is completely just locked and jammed, because it's trying to compensate. The natural curve, it's like the S curve, right? It's a structure that allows you to have stability, right? The natural curve allows your body to be like a spring, but if it's just straight, then all that energy has to be absorbed somewhere, and that's where my core has probably been absorbing it for like 2 decades. I don't know, for as long as, probably, I would say, if I want to think about, probably like my teenage years. Probably then. Um, and then throughout, I think my injury in my early 20s with my lower back strain was when it really got to a point, probably my body was no more. And then throughout my 30s, it would flare up every so often. So I was like, there's got to be something I could do about this. So it's actually been pretty good now. In terms of, if there's a flare up, it only takes me a day to recover versus months and weeks. But what leads to is yesterday, I took a wave, and so as I took the wave, and I'm going down the wave, and I approach a section of the wave where it just closes, it just crashes, it closes out, and 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 I just let the wave close out on me. And then during that time, I think the wave was so strong as it closes out, it just threw my body into like a thrashing as it closed out. And I think that's where one of my legs probably took the blunt of the force and just extended my hip flexor, hamstring, gluteus, somewhere there, where I woke up and I just knew I can't go and surf another day. I know it's bad when I can't go and surf. So I just
Yeah,
had
at
to
least you
take
only
a,
need a day's rest to recover.
yeah, so I just took the day. I mean, I mean, as much as I mentally, I get up at 3 o'clock, and I'm like, oh, I want to go work out. I want to stay fit and active, and just like go. I've also this year, I've just like I gotta give my body some rest on some of these days. So that's what I've done. I just took a rest day, and it's Sunday, and then I'll get back to the gym tomorrow, and just get back to it. But that's kind of my like my realization, and because we grew up in the same house, everybody would be like, sit up straight, like keep your back straight. But you don't really want to be so straight
Yeah.
that it's like this. You want to embrace like your spine's curve. You don't want to be hunched.
Don't hunch
Like
over too much, but don't
don't
be too
hunch.
straight.
Don't be straight where you're engaging your lower part of your spine and your upper and trying to be straight. So something I got to figure out for myself and learn more about my body as I get into my 40s. So that's kind of my crappy experience. But I hope you can learn from maybe your spine is out of alignment or something. Maybe it's too straight. Who knows?
Well, I have a doctor's appointment tomorrow to check out my back because my injury from 15 years ago in high school has been flaring up this past few months here and there. As in, like, I just lay down one side and then it gets tight in that lower back muscle, not the spine or anything.
Similar.
And then I'm like, oh, I can't get up from the couch because I'm laying down and I'm using that side of the muscle to like get up, but I can't. So it takes me like a couple minutes to like fully like regain myself.
So are you just seeing a regular doctor?
I'm seeing a specialist, I think, tomorrow.
Okay.
Because I told them like I never fully got it checked out when I was younger, so I'm hoping they can maybe throw in some paperwork for like imaging and whatever else.
Well, so I went to osteopathic, not a chiropractor. You don't want to see a chiropractor.
I know.
I'm not saying chiropractors are bad, but generally, if you do research, and everyone should do research on their doctors and their study. I made sure that when I saw this doctor, that it was not a practitioner. There's a difference between a practitioner and somebody that's certified and someone that actually went to school and can prescribe medicine and that stuff that can give you actual medical advice and stuff. So there's different levels to it. So this is the first person that ever told me, hey, your back's too straight. And I didn't even think that was even something that's possible, right? And I noticed improvements right away. It's not instantaneous, but I noticed improvement in my range of motion. Like I was never able to do the Asian squat, but after going to sea and releasing some of that tension in my hips, and then I go back to the gym, I do my yoga, and I was like, whoa, I'm feeling my hips are loosening up. I'm able to squat deeper. But you gotta remember, you gotta still keep your routine. So you can go see a doctor or whatever, but if you don't keep up the routine they tell you to, or you don't have that mental, like, I can't just go see the doctor and have them fix me every month. I gotta work on this. Then you'll see results and you'll progress versus I feel pain, I'm going to go see a doctor. And every time you feel pain, go see that. Because what you want to do is get to the root cause of things. And this is why I'm so grateful that one of my surf instructors told me, you've been doing this for so long, you've been surfing for so long. There's something, you might go see a doctor to see what's happening that's impinging me from being able to improve my surfing and my pop-up, because I'm way too athletic to still be stuck at my level of surfing. So that's how I ended up seeing a different kind of practitioner. Osteopathic. That's what you want to look up. And usually they're out of pocket, but they're worth the money. You want to invest in your body. Invest your body. That's key so you can perform well into your 80s and 70s and whatever into age. Um, but that's my experience, and because we share a similar background in genetics, it might apply to you.
And wonder if you have any ankle issues too, because I'm getting that checked out this week too. This is like my doctor's
So
week.
so that's the whole chain. I This is the other part I forgot. She impressed me so much when she did my evaluation. She you can look up the practice. She asked me, did I have any injuries out? So I only remember my back injury, but then when she got to my ankles, she's like, there's some tissue here. Did you ever get an ankle injury? And I was like, oh my god, I did have an ankle injury in my junior year. I think it was my junior year. I had an ankle injury. I totally forgot about that. I think it was like a sprain. I don't know how bad it was because I never saw a doctor or anything. I just let it heal naturally, and I thought.
Yeah, me too.
So I was like, okay, this is pretty late, and especially if you're running. It's if you don't have the correct, and I think this is what also made it worse. If you don't have the correct, and also all the jobs I worked that was standing, if you don't have the correct running form, each step makes your condition worse. Each step puts pressure on, could be your back, could be whatever, your ankles, back, whatever your movement chain is, and make it worse. So I make sure I try not to run hard on concrete, and I rather do it on treadmill if I am to run because it's softer. It's a little less impact if I jog, or that's why I just walk a lot if I can. But yeah, let me know how it goes next week. I definitely recommend going see this kind of doctor that can get to the root cause. And then after you get to the root cause, it's like a kickstart. Then you should go on your own personal health journey of like, let me increase my range of motion, my strength, my mobility, my strength through ranges of motion, so that you can live a pain-free life. That's the ultimate goal.
Yeah, I'll be curious because I'm just getting a general wellness check tomorrow, and then right after that, I have to go to another location for that back specialist, and then Wednesday's my ankle stuff. So
Yeah, and then be very careful about be very curious because you don't want them to cure the symptoms. I'd tell them,
right.
I want to know what the root cause is and what I can do to prevent it, to prevent this from happening. So that's what I would say and do. But that's kind of my experience this past week, and my big, I'd say like my big positive is also kind of learning about all this, and being like doing my research, making sure I find a doctor, not a practitioner, someone that really knows, and then just investing the money into my personal wellness because I think it's like I could buy all the surf equipment or whatever, but it doesn't matter what equipment I have if my body can't function the way I need it to perform and surf well.
I think some people just go off to practitioner because they're more available to schedule with, right? Than the actual doctors themselves.
Yeah, I mean it's also expensive. Doctor's going to command a higher fee, but it's an investment.
Yeah.
Practitioners, I think, can probably do the trick like 80% of the time if you're not too serious. But I would definitely say like if you're really serious and committed, you probably want to see the best. I wouldn't skimp on health. Like health is one thing I would never skimp on. If I could see the best that I can, I'm going to try to do that. And I want someone that's like there's a different intention. Like a practitioner might want you to be a repeat customer, like a chiropractor. Man, so if you, and this is the example, like I went and saw a chiropractor for like 3 to 6 months, and I was like, it doesn't do anything after 3 to 6 months. It didn't really help me.
Doesn't do anything after the first session.
Like, and then I did research on like how do you be a chiropractor and what do they teach you and things. Like there is some benefit to some situations. Depending on what they practice, what they claim. Like there is some for the spine, some work. It's possible, but some of the other claims, not true. There's a whole technique, and then that's when I knew I was like, I'd rather go see a doctor. because a chiropractor, I think they do a lot of marketing. They focus a lot of their time on marketing. And the practice, it works. I think like if you have a relatively minor issue, it might do the trick for you. But if you have a deep issue that's been persistent, I don't think spending money for years and years of chiropractor treatment is the solution. That sounds more like like I expected if I see a doctor, I don't have to see him for the rest of my life. Versus a chiropractor, they try to sell me on like a year-long plan. I was like, okay, this doesn't sound right. I mean, I know well enough, like, if I put in my own time to go to the gym, to rebuild my muscle, like, I shouldn't have to commit also years of fees and doctor visits. So it sounds fishy, and I just did my own research, and everyone can do their own research on this, like, so that's why I stopped. And I was like, I'm not going to redo. I'm not going to keep coming to see you and all that. But yeah, definitely invest in your health. And learn about your body, learn about how it functions, how it's adapted over the years, and just get to know your body so that you can maintain it and take care of it, so you can live well into your late years and not have to have someone take care of you. That's the thought. So that's my kind of my story, my plus and minus. That it's all relative for this week.
Well, while you have your medical stuff, as your plus minus, I got mine on this past couple of days, including today. I've been using AI. I've been having a lot of fun with AI. I developed a website for my internal group of friends. I spent like the past 24 straight hours, and if you exclude like sleep and everything else, just working on it.
So you made a website.
Yep, it has. It's been a lot of fun just prompting like AI to build everything for me the way I want it to, and not using stuff like WordPress and having like a whole GUI. This is straight up from code scratch only. So there's a lot more customizability that I can do with it. And it feels like
I get it.
And it feels like, oh, I open up a box of Legos and like I'm roaming free in my head and doing whatever I want with the website.
I mean, I get what you're saying. I mean, I don't know if that's like really. I mean, it depends. I mean, what it looks like at the end of the day.
I can show you right after this call.
It's. I think that's like.
But
code
I've just
writing
been
aspect of. I think AI is the wrong way to call it. I would say it's more of a user interface. So there were always these, like, let's go back to the original of coding a website, right? Originally you just manually did it. You did it with HTML, and
right.
And then they progressed to
having a GUI like WordPress.
Yeah,
and then plugins and themes that you can install.
What you see is what you get. Was the next step, like Dreamweaver, Flash, Macromedia. There's these third-party website builders, right? You can just click and drag.
Yep.
And then nowadays, I think before the AI, they were always templating. Like everybody started having templates, like WordPress templates. You could do a blog base, and then now I think this is. I mean, I guess we don't have a better name to call it, so we call it AI.
We call it AI tools.
Yeah, where instead of you manually clicking and dragging, you just prompt it using natural speech, and then it understands it and then builds it out. So I think the next evolution of this, if there is a next evolution, maybe it'll be like a 3D interface where you just
thinking Iron Man, Tony Stark.
Yeah, sort of like that. Where you talk to it like it's exactly like that. That's a great example where Iron Man talks to Jarvis and Friday, and then it just does stuff, right? I think that would be like the next evolution. Because if we got the natural language down, then it's just the interface. Get a freaking sci-fi looking interface. So what do you think is the most unique? Like, did you just? I mean, is it a very describe what you have so far?
What I've had so far. So I originally had an idea of what I wanted, and then I started with that. And because I work in tech, I know what I need in the back end. I need a database because I have a front end page where there's a username login. So in a way, it's private to the public or gated behind a login because I'm keeping it to my friends only, and we put
Correct.
photos and what other stuff on there. So I try to keep it privacy centric on that. So there's a database that's needed for everyone's like logins, and then I also have like DNS on the back end, so I can when I send them invites, it's not just from like a generic whatever they don't know. It's gonna be like our own private domain that I have as a domain registrar. Then I have it also like running through Cloudflare for like some images that I'm pulling from there instead, because I'm trying to keep this all free as low cost as I can. And then I have also like my own personal GitHub where I'm running all the code back end and then deploying it through another code deployment tool. So then there's a history of all the code and like build and features that it's adding every time. So I'm having Claude do all that for me. But I'm also adding like features one at a time because I'm like, oh, I think I like this feature. I don't have all this stuff like templated or like copied anywhere. It's just like I'm seeing this and I'm moving as I go and giving it ideas on what to build on the website. And then here and there's bugs, and then I point them out to it, and then I'm comparing it. I'm also using Claude against like Codex and other tools. So then it's not just Claude itself. There's other tools that are more structured and better for like some database items. So then this way it's also security focused. But what I have so far is like the username login. And then behind that is like a landing page with like our group name, established when, and our tagline for the group. And then I got like in one of the menus, it's like our trips that we all have gone through as a group. With me, I'm working on that right now where I'm like putting like highlights. So there's like an album cover, a hero image, and then just like story blocks of like highlights of that trip here and there with photos to describe it. But it's really cool because I get to like design it the way I want. The headers, the background, whatever I want, I can just prompt Claude to like build it for me and make it look nice. And I can also tell it to be like, hey, you're like an experienced web developer with experience in XYZ areas. Modernize my UI based on what you're experienced in. Stuff like that. Then I have a whole admin panel in the back end so there's a front end and a back end admin. So like normal users will see like the normal trips page, photos, everything like that. But on the admin side, I get to like build it out, upload photos to it, rearrange photo size and everything. Add the content basically on the back end as an admin. And then also have like our birthdays on there too, because there's like so many of us. People are like just trying to remember our birthdays without having to like. I just thought it was like a neat little thing, because it's like an inside thing where people can't remember everyone's birthday. So here, go to their website where it's all listed out. Then I also have an event page right now because I'm hosting an event later this month for the group. It's like a sports day. And we got 2 teams where I made everyone's own login and tied it to their name. So like if they log in to the website, it's going to be like, hey, XYZ. And then it starts doing an animation of where it places them on the team. And then has some sound effects and everything. And then I have it where there's a team list there, but it doesn't populate until everyone has logged in and gone through that little animation where it throws them into the team. So like for folks that have already logged in first, they're waiting to see who's on their team and who's on the opposing team. And then have stuff like the events where it's covered up right now, and each day I can either put a timer on it to like uncover the next event, or I can just manually reveal the event for the next day or whatever.
Man, I mean, I'm trying to like visualize this. I mean, it could look like whatever, right? I think the biggest thing is the fact that you have time or your little group to have a little website versus is is the exceptional example, because the normal person or the normal friend group, it's usually just like a, was it a Facebook chat, a WhatsApp chat group, or a big chain of text group messaging things. I think the group messaging is probably what people default
Right.
to. Yeah.
Yep. And that's
So
totally fine. I just like doing things my way and letting my imagination run wild. And because I know how to use tools or technology more so than others, I want to take advantage of that. And
yeah,
it's
I get it.
also a good way for me to use Claude and get used to it more for my work at the same time. So as I'm an admin for it, I know what people are doing and how they're using it.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, that's a. I think, and this is the part that always, um, the difficulty that I struggle with, in terms of this sort of stuff is like there's a thin line where this is not, yeah, and I'll put an example out there that is when people use AI to generate art.
Oh yeah, for sure.
That stuff, I hate it. Like I hate it. You can tell it. You can tell what it
Yeah.
is. You can easily tell when it's like generated, because you're like, all of a sudden your friend starts posting artistic stuff and you're like, they're not an artist, and you're like, what the hell? Where did this come from? And they just generated it, right? And this is where I draw a line, and it's a very thin line, because there are some people in my social circle, they're not artists, but they want to create a graphic. So they prompt it, and then it spits out this graphic, and it's generated, because it's like, it just, your friend well enough that they don't know how to do any photoshopping or Illustrator or any sort of, and then they make it. I'm like, that's fine. That's day to day, low risk. They're not here making a movie. They just needed to make a little simple graphic to whatever the message is. I'm fine with that. I think the part that gets me really riled up is like, for a while it was really hot when people started doing versions of themselves in the style of,
Ghibli.
yep, I got so like,
It was a trend.
yeah, that to me, I was like, no, no, don't generate stuff like that in the style of a type of artist. I know art is always like, you can't, it's art, right? Anyone has the ability to make art. But when you're just generating stuff like that, it just makes me sick. Coming from an artistic background and loving art, loving the human expression, that's not human expression. That's just some trendy, gimmicky
Yep, they're doing it for the
thing.
clicks because they're influencers.
And that to me is like, dude, you have no respect for the guy, especially for what, if their movies, they hand draw everything, and they take that amount of time, and then you just rip off their art style. You didn't even draw it. Like, if you drew it in the style of Studio Ghibli, and oh, much respect, that means you understand the struggle. You picked up a pencil and you try to learn, versus here's my auto generated. You don't understand the nuance. You don't understand the work, the labor that goes behind it. You just, that's fun. To me, that's disrespectful to somebody and what they created. It's the same if, like, when I don't, like, you see, just the generated stuff just upsets me. Like, I think there's a low level that you can use it for that's acceptable. There's a very low level, but for anything that is like, um, let's say internet banners, fine, you can generate crap for internet banners because no one even pays attention to it, or we train ourselves, we block it or whatever, right? But if you're making anything artistic, or and then I'll say even an ad, if if you're doing a Super Bowl ad, I would spend time and invest in creating an ad versus generating an ad at that high level. I mean, granted, it's a different level of media. But I'm just saying, like, if you're gonna make a movie and you're trying to put it in the box office, make a real damn movie with actors and understand the process of making a movie and filmmaking, and not just generate something. So I think there's a time, a place that's acceptable for some of these things. And coding, like productivity work, totally. I think it's totally fine.
I think that's the main use for it. Really, is coding.
So like coding, like Excel work, like spreadsheets, stuff, number crunching, fine. It's just like a fancy calculator you could talk to. That's how I think about it. Like instead of, I remember when we used to be, when we take calculus or whatever, and you not only did you have to know how to input that in the calculator, right? You had to first, when you do it on paper, it's hard. You have to memorize a lot, right? The calculus is like these word
I'm
problems.
gonna say I never took calculus.
Okay, god damn it.
I took pre-cal.
Oh, same thing. It's pretty close. Like pre-cal, you got to memorize all these, like sine equals cosine or whatever it is, and all that. And then they're like, oh, you can do it on the calculator. But even when you try to do it on a calculator, you have to remember how you have to input it in the calculator so that it understands what you're trying to ask it. So when I think about these problems with AI, you can now talk to it naturally. It's just like a fancy calculator. I'm like, hey, calculator, do this math problem. And it just, oh, I understand what you're trying to ask. So it can spit out your answer correctly versus, because I know when I was using those scientific calculators, if you inputted something wrong, it just give you a completely different answer.
Yep.
So it was like a whole technique on its own. But that's good, I hope it keeps your friend groups together, keeps you guys all closer, and that, people do use it.
Yeah, I like using new tools to like bring folks closer together or like demonstrate something they wouldn't have thought would be possible.
Yeah.
I also like
man.
AI in terms of helping me write, because there's a certain style I want, but I don't know how to describe it. So I keep telling AI to like keep refreshing the results, for lack of a better word, until I get it the way I want.
I mean, just write the damn thing. I mean, just
I'll write it, but like I don't know. There's a certain style I want, but like I can't think of it, so it helps me unblock myself from there.
Yeah, I mean that's fine, but don't lose your voice.
Yeah, like I'll write it out first, and then I'm like, can you translate it into like X, Y, Z style or what?
Yeah, just be very careful on that. Just don't, because here's what happens with writing. And you'll see it real quick, especially like when we see it in resumes and cover letters. It all of a sudden they all sound the same. So you don't want to lose that voice. Like if you want to stand out, just like in any writing, you got to have your own voice. So don't forget that. Otherwise, you'll just sound like an AI chatbot, an NPC.
Yeah. There's just a certain way I want it written, but I can't describe it all the way, so it helps me get there to the finish line.
Yeah, so don't lose what makes you you. When you
don't
create
use it
things
for
like that.
point blank. Use it to help you unblock yourself for work you've already put in. That's it.
Yeah, so just be very mindful of that kind of usage.
But yeah, I've been having a lot of fun literally past 24 hours just working on my website.
It's a new tool. It's like, it's like when I discovered Photoshop or something. I'm like, oh my god, this is amazing.
This is one of the best $20 I've ever spent this year so far.
Exactly.
Because I did upgrade my subscription just for this. Because I'm like, why not? Let's just see how it goes.
Yeah.
And it's beautiful. I'm enjoying it. I've got Claude on my laptop. And then on my main desktop, that's where I'm adding a lot of the other assets and writing the content.
It's like having a supercomputer.
Yeah. Like, literally, I couldn't pay someone $20 to design all this stuff for me within, like, this short of time right now.
Yep. That part I get. Because it's just coding at the back end.
Yes.
That's all it is.
And I like that it's all code because, again, it's all customizable to what I want. I'm not bound by a GUI or user interface of having to, like, work around it. I can just tell AI, be like, hey, can you just do this for me in the code?
Yep. that sounds pretty good. I mean that kind of wraps up this week for now as I try to continue my recovery. But I got a lot of surf coming up this summer, a lot of good swells pushing through. So I'll be spending a lot of time surfing in the
Nice.
coming weeks before I head off to Maui.
I do not like the summertime for running.
Your muscles loosen up, so
I know,
the
but it's
best
just
time when it's hot.
I usually, even on a normal basis, I don't run past 9 a.m. or I don't start my runs past 9 a.m. because the sun's out by then and I'm just dreading the heat and the sweat.
Hey, you just gotta train for it, man. You just train for it.
That's why I like the mornings.
Yeah, train for those hot days. Get
I
that
did
nice
run
sweat
this
going.
past week on the Global Running Day, which is
Dude,
every year, every Wednesday, the first Wednesday of every June is Global Running Day.
Okay, I didn't know that. I accidentally end up running that day.
I
And then
saw.
I got the badge on my Apple Watch. I was like, "What the heck is this?" It says Global Running. I'm like, "Oh my gosh, is this like a month-long thing?" No, I just happened to run that day, and I
Yeah.
was like, "Oh, great, that's amazing." But so that's what I've been doing is I couldn't get my heart rate high enough walking. Well, I mean, I can, but I would have to walk so fast that I just end up jogging. So I ended up jogging to get my heart rate up. So that's how it led me to see, hey, International Running Day. It's like, what? But now I will remember going forward. So
First Wednesday of every June.
yep, I'll remember that. So thank you for formalizing and explaining to me what the heck that was. That's a real thing.
It is, and I was like, that was the reason why I ran after work after I lifted at my work's gym. I came home and I'm like, I'm gonna go for a run because it's Global Running Day.
Yeah. Sounds good. Sounds good. So hopefully next week when we sync up again, I'll be fully recovered and I'll be surfing like crazy and I would love to hear how your doctor visits went so I
Be
can
curious, too.
understand if I can use that and add to my knowledge.
The only thing is, I won't take notes during those. I have to take it mentally.
Okay.
So
I mean, obviously you don't take notes. You
I hope I remember what they tell me by then. By the time we meet again.
I mean, they'll give you stuff. So just I mean, write it down when you get home or ask them to send you a printout or something. Okay?
Yeah.
All right then. I go get ready for the rest cook dinner and I'll see you next week.
Yeah.